Hello everyone, today I'm going to give you an analysis of one of the most iconic aspects of Roger Federer's game, his footwork. Known for his fluidity and efficiency, his mobility on the court is the result of years of technical and physical work. In this video, I'm going to show you in detail how his movements influence his game and especially what movement technique he uses to reach this level of mastery. I'm Mathieu, a physical trainer for amateur and professional players for over 15 years. Driven by the desire to share my experience and expertise, I created a certified training organization called ATP to help coaches and players integrate physical preparation into their training. At the same time, I support many athletes with a completely personalized daily physical follow-up. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll be bringing you theoretical and practical tips, as well as technical analyses of professional players. In terms of movement preference, Federer is often described as an aerial player. It's often said that aerial players generally have a more upright posture with their legs relatively straight, unlike baseline players who adopt a more pronounced bend. We're going to see together if that's really the case, and by the end, you'll be able to form your own opinion as objectively as possible. At the moment Nadal hits the serve, Federer is still in the air after executing his jump, but he hasn't landed yet. He only lands when the ball is close to the net, which forces him to react quickly and move in a very short amount of time. On this return, he angles his right foot open because he's getting ready to hit a forehand. At the end of the shot, his left foot is almost perpendicular to the net. As he gets back into position, he pushes off with the leg opposite to his direction of movement, with his right foot almost perpendicular to the net and his left foot parallel to it. The right leg is straightened to generate maximum force, which means more speed in movement. We can see that with just one cross step, the right foot covers a significant distance, almost a quarter of the court's width. As Nadal is about to hit the next ball, he's going to widen his stance by increasing the distance to be more effective on his first step, which is crucial for starting quickly and efficiently. He makes an initial movement with a side step, then a cross step, to get into the ideal position to hit a closed stance backhand. You can notice that the distance between these two positions of the right foot is very significant. That's about a third of the court's width, which is phenomenal. As soon as he finishes his shot, he immediately lowers his center of gravity by staying low on his feet and maintaining a wide stance to reposition himself effectively. Right after receiving the serve, he adopts a wide stance while keeping a low posture with a significant angle of flexion, which allows him to have optimal readiness for action. On this shot, he's going to put all his body weight on his right leg by bending it at an angle of about 110 degrees. He's also going to put all his body weight on the toes of his right foot, which will allow him to generate power in the ball from his legs. During his movement, we see the same pattern as before. A push from the leg opposite to the direction of movement with the foot oriented perpendicular to the net, along with an opening of his inside foot, which is almost parallel to the net. During the push, the opposite leg is fully extended to provide maximum force on the support, allowing him to reach further with the next step. The distance between these two positions of the left foot is again significant. He's in a position with both legs fully extended because the ball he needs to play is far away, which is why he's also sliding on his right leg. Just think about the muscle quality you need to develop to pull off that movement. As he gets back into position, he immediately bends his left leg to have an effective push. In the first step, he's airborne, speeding, repositioning, and increasing distance between foot placements. Notice the foot orientation with leg extension opposite movement. His left leg extends to reduce steps before anchoring to hit the ball. At the moment he resumes his stance, we again see the same orientation of his feet with a full extension of the leg opposite to his direction of movement. In this movement, we also see a full extension of his left leg to take as few steps as possible until he anchors himself to hit the ball. Once the ball is hit, he repositions himself with cross steps backward because his position is ideal for moving back rather than forward. We always notice a push with the opposite leg fully extended in the direction he's moving. He relatively often uses closed stances when hitting backhands. In this moment, we see that he's pushing off his right leg while on his toes because being on his toes allows him to generate the most force and power. It's important to work on this, especially with young players, because many of them have their foot placement too flat, which causes them to lose time when getting into action. After the push, he fully extends his right leg to reach a distant support with his left foot. Then he fully extends his left leg again to hit the ball, this time leaning on his right foot. At the end of his movement, both legs are fully extended, just like before. During the upcoming slice, his grounding on his right leg is very pronounced while he has almost no support on his left leg. Then he gets back into a cross-step position because it's the most appropriate movement for his position on the court. I'm going to show you a specific technical aspect of his foot placement after he has repositioned himself. He's going to resume his stance by keeping his right foot on the ground longer than his left foot. But then for what reason? Because he's coming back from a movement to the left. That is to say, he keeps the outside foot in the direction he's moving on the ground longer, which gives him a significant advantage. He does this because this technique allows him to start from a neutral position without being thrown to one side. At that moment, whether he's caught off guard or not doesn't really matter because he's not off balance. Of course, this only applies when he has the time to resume his stance between two hits. On this forehand shift, he uses a cross step backward to be quicker in his movement and to optimize his energy and efficiency. Once the shot is executed, since he's off center, he needs to come back quickly. He pushes off with his extended leg from the opposite side, here his left leg, then stays on the toes of his right foot to generate an explosive push by extending his leg. We also notice that his torso rises gradually like that of 100-meter sprinters. Let's take a look at some videos on clay court. We notice again a shift in this foot placement that comes from repositioning his left foot, so the right foot stays on the ground longer. We also note that he maintains a low stance at all times, even when making a foot placement adjustment. Once he lands, he moves sideways with a side shuffle to his left, and his flexion angles are about 100 and 130 degrees. At the moment of the shot, his body weight is on his back leg. Once the shot is executed, he repositions himself with a side shuffle, again having both feet off the ground to return more efficiently by optimizing the number of foot placements with a flexion angle between 100 and 120 degrees. He slows down his momentum, using his right leg to come back to the same side because he didn't have enough time to make a foot placement adjustment. You can see that he's moving on his toes to prepare for the next shot, which is going to be a high backhand slice. That's why he stays on his toes. The calf plays a major role, and you can see how contracted it is. If he had hit the ball with a flat or topspin backhand, there's a good chance he would have kept his right foot flat on the ground for better stability and grounding. On his foot placement adjustment following his repositioning, we see the same technique again, with his right foot staying on the ground longer than his left foot because he's coming back from a movement to the left. On this high backhand shot, he's on the toes of his right foot with his right leg fully extended. To allow him to be stable while still having significant force on the ground, the strength of the calf plays an important role in this type of foot placement. When he finishes his shot, his body weight is transferred to his left leg. He can slow down this load by bending his leg, then immediately pushes off to reposition himself quickly. In this phase, the muscles are working in an eccentric contraction to absorb the impact, followed by a quick concentric contraction to immediately restart the action. This ability to perform quick and powerful muscle contractions helps him absorb the energy from landing to avoid losing balance or control. By releasing this energy explosively, he can change direction without wasting any time. Once he has repositioned himself, his foot placement adjustment is shifted again. His right foot stays on the ground longer because he's repositioning from his left side. His position is always bent with his feet apart so he can take off quickly and have an effective first push. Any player with close foot placement and straight legs will accumulate significant delays in their movements and positioning, which will inevitably affect the quality of their shot. The work to be done sometimes focuses more on improving footwork than on working on the hitting technique, because without optimal positioning, the quality of the shot will be compromised. As he repositions after a forehand shot, he keeps his left foot on the ground more this time, which allows him to maintain a neutral balance when he adjusts his foot placement. In general, he often relies on his right leg, whether it's for a forehand or a backhand. He adopts an open stance on his backhand side only when he's caught off guard and doesn't have time to place his weight on his right leg. In conclusion, his movement quality allows him to minimize his footwork while remaining extremely effective. His ability to maintain low positions and consistent foot spacing gives him great responsiveness on every point. When he resets his footing, he's low on his legs with a significant foot spacing. As soon as he has the time, he sets up a stable stance on his right leg, even on the backhand side. During his foot resets, there's a shift in his footing based on his sense of positioning. He takes very few small steps to position himself. We often hear that you need to take small steps to position yourself better, but Federer moves efficiently and hardly takes any unnecessary steps while still getting into an optimal hitting position. He has such stability in his footing during strikes that there's practically no compensation with his upper body. This leads us to wonder if it's because of his footwork and stability that he manages to keep so much relaxation in his upper body and during his strikes. And one last point, to reach this level of excellence, his muscles need to be able to handle intense contractions specific to this type of movement. It's essential to do strength training and to develop movement technique from a young age. Although this technique is unique to him, as we will see in other videos where I analyze other players, some techniques are common and must be mastered to reach the highest level. If you want more content on physical training, feel free to like the video and subscribe to my channel. For more details on the training and 100% personalized physical follow-up that I offer, I'll put the links below this video in the bio.